the internet. You can download them from the App Store. If you look at my blog on the daily tips, I've got the link there, daily tips, free templates for iBooks Author. You download them and install them, and it's actually a little application, and their intention is to make you buy more templates, which you can have a look at if you like. I'm going to make my first book now in this first little demonstration. I'm going to start off creating a little textbook for my students to use next year. I teach a module called Organizational System Security. Yes, it is a bit of a mouthful. And I'm going to be creating a little book to go along with their lessons and also for them to help write their assignment. This will be my first completed iBook that I've made that I'm going to publish online, and it will be available for my students to download and use on their iDevices or as a PDF for them to use from the Moodle website. But I'm going to choose this Village Fantasy template. I'm going to select that template and open it, and it will now open up iBooks Author, ready for us to work. So usual interface, iBooks Author. There's our front chapter 1 and what we're going to use on there. And I'm first of all going to start by changing the book title. I'll put my title in here. And as with my look, it's too big for the box. So I make the box a little bit bigger by dragging the plus sign, and I'm going to center the text by highlighting it all and centering it here. And I'm going to use my cursor to bring this down to here and then make my box bigger. Now, it's a bit too big there. So if I highlight it again, I can change the page setting of the lines down to 0.6. It brings it a bit closer. 0.5, a bit closer. Show more. And over here comes up my text toolbar, and I can reduce that down even further so it fits together nicely. Now if you noticed, as I highlighted this, the words become available in the glossary term. I'm going to make that a glossary item. So I'm going to use the word security and make that a glossary item. So add term, and I'll fix that later. I'll go into the index link for that later and make it a glossary term. I can make this word organisational as well, and the word system, and I'll come to those later when I change them. There's going to be lecture notes. I'm going to write a brief introduction here for my students. Okay, apologies there. You'll notice that throughout my typing, I am not the best of the world's spellers. So I'm just going to look at this. Should be support. And I'll let the computer correct it for me. So that text is there. It's a little bit small. So if I open up my font palette, I can look at the fonts I've got available. and keep the font I've got if I like it, and just increase the size of the text on there. I'm just going to go for a sort of a nice hand scripted font. All fits in nicely. So there we've got our very front page. At the bottom here I'm going to put my name. So I'm claiming authorship of this book. Let's make me a nice handwriting font. Now if you look at this carefully, the font that I've chosen, Dakota, isn't available on the iOS iBooks. So I'm not going to use that because it's not sensible. But I will try and use something else that's a little bit more interesting and fun. So let's see if Chalk Dust is available. It is. Let's see if it's available a bigger size. Yes, it is. So there we go. Got our front lecture page there. As you can see, it comes up with lecture as my information there. Ready to go. Front page done. We'll come back to adding media later. I'm going to add a movie in there at some point. I'm not sure what I'm going to add, but I'll find something suitable later. I'm going to go to my first chapter, and chapter 1. And chapter 1 has got a presentation to go with it that I've just downloaded off the internet from the Moodle site. And I find the presentation, here it is. Contract codes and conduct. So it's a PowerPoint, the original one made in Microsoft on the Windows platform, and I'm going to convert it in a few minutes into a Keynote presentation. But you can see here is the unit and here is the information that goes with it. So I'm going to add that as my title. So it's organisational issues. I'll pick up the text from there, and I'm going to use the Command and C to copy and Command and V to paste. Okay, first title, let's give it a capital O, and we want a little bit of an introduction there, so we'll take this here and we'll turn that into our introduction there. Let's look at the first slide. We've got these several areas to cover, so I might make that into a contents page later on. I'll leave that for now. So I'm just going to make that into a bit larger. Let's see if we can use our chalk duster again and go nice and big. I'm going to center that text. I'm also going to center the title. Leave it as it is, actually left justified. So I've got my first chapter page done, and we're moving on to our first section. Now, here is where I could put my chapter headings. It looks as though this is a locked box. So it seems I can't change that at the moment. It could be an image. It could be a widget. I'm not quite sure. I'll come back to that in a minute. But for now, I'm going to take the BTEC assessment criteria, which are going to be P4, P5 and P6. And I'm going to add those in as a screen grab, so the students are aware what elements I'm going to be marking from this piece of work. So I'm going to use the combination of Command, Shift and 4, and I'm going to grab this marking grid by drawing over it with the mouse, and you hear the photograph shot, and then I'm going to find that screenshot on the desktop. Here it is. I'm going to drag it into this page here and use it there. Now, I'm not quite sure what this grey image is here, whether it's part of the text or part of the page. So for now, I'm just going to cover it over with my marking grid. There we go. Resize so the students can see it. And I'm going to delete the text from here, so I've got a space at the bottom to use. I'm just going to write assessments here as my first chapter title, I'm going to write under here what this is and give them some information as to what it is. I'm also wanting to use an image to look at the sort of things we're looking at as part of the work. And if we look here, we're looking at managing organisational IT security issues. So I'm going to do a quick search using Chrome. I'm going to do a search using Chrome. I'm going to search for organisational ICT. And then look under images. And what have we got? We've got lots of organisational charts, lots of IT images. We're looking at managing IT. Let's try managing IT. Images again of management. This is a nice little sort of idea of managing bits and pieces. We've also got people in a picture. We've got servers. We've got computers and management there. We've got sort of flow charts and diagrams of managing IT, observing stuff and managing people. But I do like this image here. So I'm just going to click on that image and get as far as I can into the image and drag it from here and drop it into the page. I'm going to make that smaller. It's all about managing, but also it's about assessment. So it's nice tick boxes for assessment. And in a minute, I'm going to write my assessment information there for the students to have. And I've got the first page there for my section in the chapter, organisational issues. Organisational issues and section. Now if you've realised, I haven't really touched any of the toolbars at the top. All I've done so far is manipulated a little bit of the inspector, this one here. I've used the fonts toolbar, this one here. I haven't really played with the colour yet either, and I haven't really played with media yet. There will come a time where I get to those. So far we've got our front page, our chapter 1 title, and our section 1 title assessment. And if we look at our table of contents, you can see that it's got our chapter and assessment in there, and it's ready to show more as we go through it. Our glossary has got the 3 words in: organisational, security and system, and we can find the information for those and put them in a minute. But realistically, we've got our first 2 pages of our simple iBook, which we can demonstrate. Now if you're really interested in how it looks, you can plug your iPad in with your iPad syncing charging cable, and you can open up iBooks and you can click the preview button and it will appear on your iPad as a proof, and you can inspect it. Okay, have a go at that now.